3,
Don't
2.
give me no back talk, sucker.
What was that? That was Jasper, obviously.
That's my Mr. T impression.
I like it.
And so, hello and welcome to an Arsenal Fan TV podcast with Mr. T, myself, Giles, Jasper, Rick, and Callum. Good evening, fellas.
First name, Mr. Middle name, period. Last name, T.
I had that exact. Is it a wee keychain toy?
Yeah.
I think I've got that exact. I've got that somewhere as well.
Yeah. You know where I found it today? I was playing my acoustic guitar and I heard it rattling, and I thought, what the fuck is that? And I turned it upside down and that fell out. So my son had obviously posted it inside the guitar, you know, hoping it would get sent somewhere.
All right, as you do.
As you do, yeah.
Exactly. Right, so getting back to our professional...
Are we getting paid for this then?
Yeah.
What's professional about it?
I don't know. Well, it's usually professional when you're not here. I mean, so.
Right, now I'm going to have to press this button.
Don't give me no back talk, sucker.
Right. Hello, Jasper. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling much better after that City result because, you know, even though we could have won it, we should have won it. It would have been brilliant if we did. But the point is that we're back in terms of our belief. Belief was massively sucker punched by Chelsea. It wasn't helped much by Swansea. But now we look like a team again, and we attacked with purpose and we defended with purpose. So I'm cheered up about that.
All right, Cal. I'll go to you, and then after you, Rick.
Good result. I think, a draw isn't great, I guess, considering the fact we drew against Swansea in the week and lost to Chelsea the weekend before. But, I think I went into the game expecting a loss. When they were 1-0 up at half-time, I was really expecting a loss. So, we fought back and put in a really good performance in the second half and perhaps could have even stole the win. But, I think it's good. I think that result kind of puts this horrible little run behind us, and going forward into Everton and perhaps the remaining fixtures and the FA Cup semi-final, we're going to have a bit more belief, and we seem to have gotten over that drubbing at Stamford Bridge the weekend before last. So I think it was a good performance, a decent result, and I think moving forward now we can take a lot of heart from that performance, and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah, like everybody says, I guess we're all feeling good about it because it puts a really bad run behind us, we hope. What I was encouraged about more than anything is that we drew with what everybody feels is the strongest team in the league, missing 4 of our top players in Walcott, Ozil, Ramsey, and Wilshere.
And Koscielny.
Oh yeah, and Koscielny. You're right. I think if you look at Man City and you took away Nasri, you took away Silva, you took away players like that, and played them, I don't think they'd look as good as we did. So I think we do have, and I guess it's our midfield more than anything. Obviously, we don't have much choice at striker, but Vermaelen stepped in and didn't do too badly, and we got the midfielders' strength and depth to really compete with teams like that, even missing our top players, and I think that's encouraging, even though it doesn't always happen, as we know from last weekend.
Yeah, indeed. I just want to ask, how did you feel coming into the game, like after the 6-0 tonking, and then the players not really doing their jobs on Tuesday, Callum? Did you feel confident that we'll get a result at home?
I didn't. I think we. If we'd done better against Swansea, perhaps I might have been a bit more confident. But City went to United in midweek, and I know they're not the hardest team to beat nowadays, but it was a big game for them, big derby, and they put them to the sword. And as Rick said, we had a lot of injuries, and you look at the way we were dominated at the Etihad. That was when we had Ozil, and we had Koscielny, and we had Ramsey, and we had Wilshere. We had all our big players ready for that game. So I was a bit I was a bit scared. I kind of wanted this game to come and go. Because it's been a pretty shitty few weeks with the tough matches we've had, and some of the results haven't been very good. So I think the fight we showed to get back into the game was absolutely brilliant, and given my expectations before the game, it was a great result. And then given my expectations at half-time when we were 1-0 down, it was an absolutely brilliant result. So, I think the most important thing is that moving forward, we can I think if we lost that game, or, especially if we lost it by 2 or 3 goals, we'd go to Goodison Park next week, really with our, tails between our legs. But, I think now we'll go there with confidence that we've kind of put everything behind us and we're ready to push on now and secure 4th place and maybe even win a trophy. So, yeah, I was happy. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Rick, after the first, in the first half, how did you feel our performance? How we performed in the first half?
Not quite as good as I'd hoped. I mean, we went a goal down, and we really hadn't threatened too much. It wasn't an appalling performance by any means, but I'd hoped that we would, threaten their goal a little bit more. And as it turns out, in the second half, we did. But when you're looking at halftime, you're down 1-0. You really hadn't tested the keeper. It was a little bit concerning, yeah.
Rick, Jasper, what did you think changed at half time? What do you think we did better going into the second half?
It's a tough one, that one. I'm not sure exactly what the manager said, but it did look completely different. I mean, he said after the game that we were nervous in the first half because of the bad results recently. And I think on their minds, they just wanted to not lose the game. And we know that when we got spanked by Chelsea and Liverpool, it happened very quickly. So if we survived the first 15 minutes without going 3 goals down, then, we can relax a little bit and focus on winning the game. So that's why the first half was so cagey, because we just didn't want to get another spanking. And we did defend well, apart from the goal, obviously. So going 1-0 down at half time, you're going at half time thinking, okay, well, at least it's not 3-0 like the others. So maybe they at half time thought, okay, we're still in this. Let's really go for it now, because there's only 45 minutes left. Let's go and, attack them. And they came out with more belief. And when we scored that goal, which was, only about 8 minutes into the second half, that massively lifted us. And we then, dominated that half. And, I'm actually, sounds fussy because a draw, I would have taken that before the game, but I'm slightly disappointed that we didn't win it. Because in the second half, if we spent the whole second half backs to the wall with City peppering our goal, then, I would have bitten your hand off for a point. But we didn't. We were all over them, and we had great chances to score, and we should have finished them. Sanya crossed the ball, across the goal, and nobody knocked it in. Podolski.
Oh, that was so disappointing, wasn't it?
That was so disappointing. Yeah, it seems to happen a lot. But anyway, then Podolski had that shot which he couldn't put away. There were a few good chances that we should have scored from and didn't. And that's my only regret afterwards. You'll take a point definitely against, allegedly the best team in the league, and especially after the last 2 games. But I just couldn't help feeling at the end, like, damn it, we should have finished them off, But
it's worth noting, really. I think what that game actually reminded me of was actually at home we've been pretty good this season, and we still haven't lost a game and since the opening day. And we beat Liverpool 2-0 earlier in the season. A point against Chelsea wasn't too bad. This point was good given the team we had available. Obviously, the United game and games against Swansea wasn't great, but we are a tough team to beat. And I think the difference is, you think back to the game against Liverpool when we won 2-0. Aaron Ramsey scored a great goal. We're in good form. We had a lot of good players fit, and if we had guys like Ramsey and Walcott fit, especially in that first half, how often did we see, Rosicky or Cazorla try and advance with the ball, and because we were defending so deep, Giroud really was the only option, and he was being marked by about 3 City players. So,
yeah.
But I think what was good was that, it begs the question why we haven't done this sooner, but we didn't commit too many players forward. Their goal came from that we were perhaps pushing the fullbacks a little bit too far forward, but you could tell that with Sanya and Gibbs, they weren't trying to bomb forward like they did at Stamford Bridge or they did at Anfield. There was a concerted effort to sit deeper, but of course what that meant was that when we did win the ball, we didn't have that outlet further up the field. But I thought that was okay, given the circumstances of the match, given the players we had available.
And given what happened in previous weekends,
Exactly. So it was.
I noticed when we did give up the goal, I think I saw Podolski's no defender whatsoever, but he was dropping deep. He was, putting his body in positions to help defend at least. And
I thought he
like
worked
you said,
harder.
that left us with no outlet.
He worked harder than normal that game, I noticed. I mean, one example is that ball, going out of play, and he back-heeled it right on the line,
great,
didn't he? And that was a lost cause. Nobody would have bothered going after that. And in fact, Gibbs dealt with it really well, because when it came towards him, he sidestepped his man and moved on, and that was just a great bit of play. But Podolski was all over the place, and this sort of reputation he has of being lazy, well, he certainly wasn't in that game. He really busted a gut. And I have to say, a lot of the team did as well, because I noticed that when we went forward, apart from what you were saying in the first half where Giroud was the only option, a lot of the time in the second half we went forward in numbers, but when we lost the ball, we came back in numbers as well. So if Man City tried to break, there was at least 4 or 5 players back. And if
look at you talk about going forward. Look at Flamini. I mean, he got the goal, but a couple of times he was trying to make the run.
Yeah,
I think the players they were clever in the way that they knew they had to. If we were going to get a goal, we had to take a few more risks, but without being too stupid. And I think it's kind of set up. This is the way we should play against the big teams: is don't commit too many men forwards. Sit deep if you have to, absorb a little bit of pressure. But the difference is, hopefully next season we'll have guys like Walcott fit who can actually stretch their defence, and we'll have a better striker who can perhaps nick a goal here or there, or create something out of nothing, which unfortunately Giroud can't really do. So. The thing I was most happiest with was the way we defended, and I think it does make you wonder why we haven't done this earlier in the season, because we've been exposed too many times. But we did a good job of restricting City's chances, really, and Mertesacker scored an own goal, and Fernandinho had a couple of shots, but apart from that, they didn't really threaten an awful lot. So it was good. It was good to see you could tell there was something with regard to tactics was being done there, and as you said, Jasper, guys like Podolski, people you perhaps don't expect to work that hard that often, certainly did for this match. So it was a good resilient performance, especially when we really needed it more at most, really. So
yeah, you could tell they didn't want to give up that second goal.
No,
the defensive effort was there. Yeah,
I said when it went to 1-0, we've got to keep it at 1-0 for as long as possible, because if it went to 2. I don't know if I could have seen us coming back into that, but with it 1-0, we always had a shot, and we took our chance when it came, and it wasn't someone I would have expected to have got the goal, but Flamini was absolutely immense.
He
people,
did step up.
It frustrates me a lot of the time, because some people seem to say you only like Flamini because he likes to roll his sleeves up and throw himself into a tackle, but I think what we saw from him on Saturday night was a demonstration of how to be.
Disciplined.
He was disciplined in the sense that he was very intelligent when he got forward. You never felt that he was jeopardising the team with regards to our defensive stability when he was going forward. He picked his runs cleverly. He was at the midfield the whole time. He always was just trying to make these tackles and close the space, and he was everywhere. And I think he doesn't. Because he does like a tackle and he likes getting fired up, he perhaps gets, stereotyped as this, no-nonsense player, which he is to a degree, but I think there's many more strings to his bow than perhaps he's given credit for. And I think he was probably his best performance of the season last night. And, the game was one where we needed leaders, and he led from the front. And, his goal as well wasn't an easy goal, to hit it with your weak foot when you're not really a goal scorer, to guide it with enough pace into that corner. I thought it was a really good finish, and I think even if Giroud had hit that in, we would have been pleasantly surprised that it didn't go over the bar. So it was
like that.
Yeah. So for me, Flamini was man of the match.
Cazorla and Rosicky, I think.
Cazorla
was second and third. Brilliant.
Cazorla was different class, and I don't think it's any coincidence that it was because he was in the middle of the park, and he was just. And sometimes I do wonder, some people, when his contract was announced. The last couple of weeks, people were saying, we shouldn't be keeping him on for longer. He's not very good. Last season was a flash in the pan. The man is absolutely brilliant.
Nonsense, Robbie.
Exactly.
He was absolutely masterful yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean, he pulled all the strings, controlled everything. He was everywhere. I saw him come back and take the ball off the centre backs, and then a few seconds later, he was in the opposition box. I mean, he was absolutely
the way he works the ball in a tight space is, from my opinion, is one of the best in the league, if not the best. When he gets the ball in these positions, you think, how's he going to get out of this? And he is so two-footed. He's taking corners with both feet. he must be a nightmare when he's running at you because you have no idea which way he's going to go. And I think it's unfortunate this season because undoubtedly he hasn't been as good as he was last year. But last season we played him in the middle of the park and everything went through him. Whereas this year as we spoke about before, exactly. So we've had to use him out on the wing, and he's at his best when he's in the middle there. And I absolutely adore Santi, and I think people have short memories. As people do with regards to a lot of our players, and
it's a headache though, isn't it? Because you want to play him in the centre, but then you also want to play Ramsey in the centre because he's absolutely on fire. And then Oxlade-Chamberlain's best position is in the centre. And then what about Jack Wilshere? And then what about
this is the thing. I think we need to accept that we want to become better and better, and when that happens, you can't necessarily have. I mean, Cazorla, I think his best position is in the middle of the park. In that number 10 role, and obviously when everyone's fit, you'd probably prefer Özil there. But I think moving forward, we have to think, well, Özil has picked up an injury, has probably been overplayed. Why not rotate Cazorla in the middle a little bit more there? And I know we've had injuries and stuff, but I think moving forward, Cazorla is extremely versatile as well. He can play anywhere in that front line of midfield, whether it's on either wing or in the middle. His best position is in the middle. But a player as versatile as him, I think he has a lot to offer. And he demonstrated that again at the weekend, and some people have been reluctant to give him credit and say, he hasn't assisted enough and all this nonsense. But he and Rosicky were the only ones who could really match Flamini in terms of performance, or just maybe a little bit not quite as good as Flamini, but they were both brilliant. Santi in particular.
Let me throw in our dark horse for man of the match, and Kieran Gibbs I thought was really solid.
Excellent.
Second half he was. First half, he was a bit.
Well,
he recovered well, but
he recovered well. But I saw him one time in the second half, almost on the right side of the pitch, chasing somebody out of our area. It was just.
I think the players
quietly a good game.
I think a lot of the players that have had a poor few weeks, like Santi Cazorla, like Gibbs, like Podolski, really stepped up yesterday. Really stepped up.
Drew was better as well, I thought.
Drew, he works manfully, doesn't he?
People still slag him off, regardless of what he does. But
yeah,
if you actually watched him yesterday, I read someone mentioned the other day that the ball seemed to stick to him a lot better, which it
like
did.
Velcro.
Yeah, a lot better than it did. And the goal, it came from him making a good run, holding the ball up, picking a good pass, and then from there, within 10 seconds or so of him laying the ball off, we'd got the goal. So
yeah,
he had a couple of duff shots, but look, we know what Giroud. We know his limitations as a player, but I think he played to walk closer to his best than he has been doing for recent weeks when he has been poor. So I think he deserves a bit of credit for that because.
I also think watching the game yesterday when I was there, I don't think Man City were up for it in the second half. I really don't. I think in the first half, Silva and Navas were all over the place. You couldn't pick them up. They were getting into holes. I think Silva's probably the best attacking midfielder in the Premiership. I don't know, he doesn't get into the Spain team. But second half, we were right in their faces. Navas and Silva became peripheral. They were anonymous, hence they were taken off. And the only player that really stood up to us, I thought, was Vincent Kompany. So many times, like Jasper was saying, it was come the end of the game, you were disappointed that we didn't get the 3 points because they were there for the sake. I really don't think they wanted to know in the second half. Such was the force of our will. I don't know what Wenger and Bold and them guys said to them at half time, but it certainly worked. They must have put some marching powder in their oranges or something. I don't know.
We had the will. It was just that bit of quality that with Özil and Ramsey and Walcott we might have had, but and that's the difference. It's the finest of margins, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, what about the almost scapegoat move that Rosicky made there at the end, the giveaway, and then I think lucky to stay on the pitch with this tackle after the giveaway.
Oh,
yeah. That could have hurt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it wasn't nice, and he did dive for the penalty as well. So, he got away with.
It was a good dive though, because at first I was.
At first,
everyone thought it was a pen. Everyone was.
You're gonna dive, at least do it properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't half-ass it. And do you know what? Like, it happens. Everyone does it occasionally. He's not that's the first time I can ever remember him diving. It's the first time really since Santi last season when he dived to win us a penalty. I can remember an Arsenal player doing it, and you know what I mean. I just might as well. Everyone else is doing it. Yeah,
I mean he was really up for the game last night. I mean,
you do wonder,
arguing.
Is he really 33?
Yeah, I know. It's funny because you see someone like Arteta, and they're saying they're not going to renew. The chances are we're not going to renew his contract because he lacks the mobility to get around the park as we'd want him to. But someone like Rosicky, I mean, like you say, he plays like a 20. He plays like he's still 27. Or 23. He's got so much energy.
I guess it was those 3 years on ice. He's probably 30, right?
There's that too, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. I want to ask. I don't know if you guys got wind of it, but there was a small protest before the game about Stein Kroenke and things going on at Arsenal. I didn't see it. I came straight from the pub to the ground. I didn't see anything, but I heard I'd heard that there was a protest. I mean, what do you guys think of the protest? I mean, earlier in the day I saw the Man United thing, and I thought that was, at least we're not as wanky as them. Do you know what I mean? With the flyover thing or whatever. But I mean, do you think people had a point? Do you think people have got a point about the way the club is run in terms of we're not doing our utmost to spend the money we've got. We're not giving Wenger enough help. I want to ask you first, Jasper.
Before we go on, what was specifically the protest about? Was it about Kroenke or was
there was a banner
everybody?
outside saying it said "fuck off Wenger" or something like that, which was just.
So I might have even got it wrong. I didn't even see it. I just heard that there was a protest, but it was
a very small one. It was outside. They were singing "Choke on Your Caviar," I think, at the director's box.
Yeah, it was something like that. I noticed that BSM distanced himself from it as well.
If you're going to protest, don't use. You just immediately devalue your opinions if you just use crude, rude swear words, because no one's going to take you seriously. I mean, that's the first thing I would just say about the fuck off Wenger. It's silly.
Indeed. Did any of you see the Man United protest?
Yeah, it's funny though, because I saw people, especially when United are doing badly. Whenever I kind of read things on the internet, everyone seems to want him sacked, right? And then after the banner came out, people seem to be defending him, saying, "Oh, that was pathetic." I thought, where do these fans come from? In 1 minute they're all get Moyes out, and then when they do this banner, it's how could give him time, and it's like I don't know, maybe it's just them coming out the woodwork and whatnot, but I think they've messed up, and if you're gonna protest, there's better ways of doing it. Don't do it. It's a childish,
Yeah, they should have a banner that says, fuck off and eat the caviar. Or whatever.
Well, it's just
it's money spent.
I think with regards to Moyes and Wenger, really, there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, and if you want the manager, if you feel like the club's best interest would be achieved if the manager left, that's a perfectly legitimate opinion to hold. But I think there's certain ways of going about it, and I think flying a banner via plane over the stadium is just ain't going to win you any fans, and certainly using crude words to describe the manager ain't going to help your case either. I think there's ways to go about it, and in both cases at Arsenal and United, they weren't the right way to go about it. Yeah, for me anyway.
Indeed. All right, moving on to Arsenal matters. I heard that what's its name? Everton won again today, so they're 4 points off of us with a game in hand. We're going up to Goodison Park next weekend. Rick, do you feel that the result yesterday, the performance yesterday, gives us renewed optimism going up to Everton next weekend?
I think it has to. Everybody's picking, City to win the league, and even, like I said, with the people we're missing, we had a draw. We could have won the match. Obviously, they could have won it too in the first half, but I think it's renewed confidence, and also we're going to have to take this very seriously. Everton are now a serious threat for fourth, aren't they? We really need to. It's a 6-pointer, isn't it? It really is.
Exactly. Jasper?
What was the question?
Kind of confidence, does this give us renewed confidence? Does it give us momentum going into next weekend's game? How do you feel about next weekend?
Well, definitely. I think Callum already said that, if we'd lost this game, even if we'd only lost the City game 1-0 and it was semi-respectable, it still damages the belief ahead of some crucial games. And I think with Everton, the fact that, we had that draw against them, which, we really should have won, and Giroud had that fantastic shot that cannoned across the bar in the last few minutes, so we sort of deserved to win it. And that plus the FA Cup spanking should be enough confidence, as well as the City point to do the job on them. You know, we've still got loads of players missing. None of them will be back, as far as I'm aware. So we have to take the same team and the same confidence, you know, and go and do them. You know, that's my view. There's no reason why we can't beat them. Yes, they're a very good team, but we've beaten them in the FA Cup, and they were taking it seriously. So you know, we are at home, aren't we?
No,
we're not.
We're away.
Oh, we're away.
We're away.
Oh, I thought we. No, okay. Well, still, we'll beat them. Don't worry.
Callum, Everton are on a run, aren't they? At the moment, they're playing with so much confidence. Ross Barkley, Lukaku, is it Morales, or whoever his name
Morales.
is? Yeah, that's it.
Did Barkley go off injured?
He went off at half time for Naismith today. I'm not sure if he was injured, but he wasn't playing particularly well. Although he did play amazingly well on Tuesday with that goal he scored from.
Yeah.
I think Everton have kind of come out of nowhere because, you know, every weekend, you know who the teams around us are, and you always look at their scores. And it got to the point with Everton where they were winning, and I would think, oh no, Everton have won. But I thought, oh, they're out of it. It doesn't matter. And only really the last few weeks when we've kind of we're out of the title race now, you kind of think, oh, we're not looking ahead anymore. You look over your shoulder and think, oh, where the fuck did you come from? And Everton, you know, they won. You know, it's the 5th game they've won in a row today, and that's the first time that's happened in 11 years or so, I think. So, you know, it's a bit of a worry because we've only picked up, I think, 13 points in our last 10. We're struggling for form a little bit. The City game should give us confidence, and you know, it seems quite, you know, Jasper, you're saying that we're going to go beat them, you know, but this might sound a bit unambitious, but I would take a draw. Because I think now we're out of the title race. I've accepted that's gone, and now we are just looking at a top 4. And for that 4th place, I think a draw would be fine because it keeps us would keep us 4 points ahead of them that have a game in hand, and our five remaining fixtures are easier than their remaining 6. So I think you know, it's definitely something to worry about. And you know, to be honest, once we beat Tottenham the other week, I really thought that was it done. I thought we were you know, top 4 was sorted. And obviously Everton have crept up on us, but
I mean, the way things are going, is the championship title, is the title really out of I mean,
oh, definitely, because I mean,
because you've seen Chelsea lose yesterday. Who would have said that?
We have Giles, but we've got 64 points, right? And if we win all 6 remaining games, we finish on 84. Or no, 82, I think, 82 points. But so basically, what we would need. All 3 teams, I think, to lose a couple of matches each. But the thing is, if Liverpool slip up, it's going to be to City, or if City slip up, it's going to be to Liverpool.
Or Everton, because City still have to go to Everton.
No, you're right. There are some tough fixtures in there, but I don't think we'll see all 3 of them slip up. And at the same time, I don't think, you know, if we win at Everton next week, for me, I think it's gone. And I think anything, there's nothing to suggest that we're going to be able to get back in it. The points, you know, the fact if we'd beaten City, we would be, you know, hanging on in there, but I think the draw yesterday, it seems a shame to say, but that killed off our hopes, but I think we all kind of knew before that, really, after Swansea, that they were dead. You know, for me, right now, it's just got to be about keep making sure Everton don't pip us to that 4th place spot and winning the FA Cup, you know. And, yeah, I just think there's too much that has to go wrong for all 3 of the teams ahead of us. For us to win it, and you know, I just don't see it happening, and I think it's better just to focus, be more realistic, and you know, look realistic where we are on the table.
Okay, Rick.
Oh, we got to beat them. We got to beat them. I don't want to leave anything to chance. I really want to beat Everton, and who knows with Chelsea, you know, the loss over the weekend, and Mourinho saying now they can't win the league. I guess. That particular, you know, him and Terry are the specialists in failures they've become. Maybe we can catch them. Who knows?
Maybe they'll be more concerned with beating up boys than picking up points.
Oh,
you know.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
What a
what a wanky thing to say, eh? Oh, you know, if you don't watch yourself, one of my boys will come and punch you in the face. Yeah, really classy, Jose. I
was surprised that he hadn't gone down the tunnel to tell his wife what the score was. He's still hanging about at the end of the match. I thought, Jose, she's got no BT Sport or anything. She needs to hear. He's such a twat, that man.
He is. He's absolutely that. Okay, so right. Would you say, I'm going to start with you, Jasper. Tomorrow marks David Rocastle's anniversary of his death. Would you say that was a kind of performance that he would have been, satisfied with? The sort of performance he would have put in himself?
Yeah, he certainly would have looked at a few of our players, like the ones we mentioned before, and been satisfied with them. What we were lacking in the previous games, especially Swansea, where we looked a bit sort of shell-shocked still from Chelsea, was passion, and the players that we mentioned showed plenty of passion and guts to go attacking the best team in the league in the second half. So I'm sure he would have approved of that.
Indeed. It's quite poignant that when I was looking around the ground, they got that banner, and remember who you are, what you are, and who you represent. And I think they did that, fantastically yesterday. I think the atmosphere in the ground was amazing. Everybody sort of played their part. On Tuesday night, I don't know if any of you saw, but I was ranting on Arsenal Fan TV that.
I saw you.
You went hang around, didn't you?
I did. It was really. I was embarrassed, to be honest with you. When I looked at it back, I was bug-eyed and spitting blood and frothing at the mouth.
You were scary, mate.
Yeah.
I was hiding behind the sofa watching that.
Even Robbie said that I tried to pull the microphone from him as well. But I was so happy for him. Come the end of the game, that the boys put in a performance like that, and I'm sure David Rocastle would have approved as well. So on that note, I'm going to ask you for your predictions for Saturday. So I'm going to start with you, Rick, because you told me to mute. So.
Oh no, wasn't directed to you.
What prediction you got for Saturday?
Saturday?
Was it Sunday? Was it Sunday? It's Super Sunday. I think it's next Super Sunday, isn't it?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, like I said, it's got to be a win. It's got to be a win. We got to go out and get it. We can't take any more chances. We can't give Everton the belief that they can get past us. We just got to nip this in the bud. We got to stamp them. We got to, get them down, stand on their throats, don't let them up. That's my opinion.
And the scoreline?
Oh, scoreline. Well, let's go 3-1. 3-1 to the Arsenal.
Wow, very, very, very confident. Callum?
I will go for a 2-1 win to Arsenal. I think we'll go 1-0 up, they'll equalise, and we'll win with the 89th minute Kallstrom free kick.
Mm-hmm. And Jasper?
I'm inclined to agree with Callum. I don't think we'll spank them again, but I do think that we've got enough to win it, so it'll probably be a tight win, like a 1-goal margin. Speaking of Kallstrom, I didn't actually see him the other day when he came on for 11 minutes. Sorry to change the subject, but was he any good?
You know what? He put himself about. He's got a good range of passing, and he's quite a decent size as well. He's a lot bigger than all the rest of our midfielders. He was putting himself. Obviously, he committed a few fouls because obviously, he's a bit weighty. He's not used to the league, and probably a lot of adrenaline was running through his blood. But I think he looked promising. I mean, I don't think he's ready to start a 90-minute. I don't think he's ready to go for 90 minutes, but definitely as an impact sub. People were, laughing at us and, abusing Wenger for bringing him in and so on and so forth. But the guy's got over 100 caps for Sweden. He's won championships in France. Let's just see how he gets on. I don't think he's going to be a very bad signing. And also, I think, around the FA Cup semi-final time, we should have either Özil or Ramsey back, I would imagine.
No, I don't think we will.
Definitely got Diaby back though, haven't we? So that's the silver lining.
Can you imagine the irony if he saved our season? We win the title because of
right, boys. You got me this. You got us this far. I'll take it from here.
Yeah, I've been out injured for about 6 years now. And when I come back, I'll win you the title by scoring a hat-trick in every game.
Like, don't worry yourself, Mesut. You just take your time getting back. I've got it.
Yeah, I've got this. Yeah.
Definitely. All right then, guys. So that was another edition of the Arsenal Fan TV podcast. I'm gonna wrap it up now. So I'm gonna say good night, Jasper.
Good night, people.
Good night, Rick.
Good night.
And good night, Callum.
Good night.
This is me, Giles, saying good night from the Arsenal Fan TV podcast. I thought you were going to do the Mr. T thing.
I thought it was too. I hesitated.
A bit late, yeah.
Go, Jibba Jabba.